How's it going? Welcome back to Black Cat. Today we're going to do a quick little video going over the JPC setup that I got going on right here. So starting with the front of the carrier, we've got a regular JPC 2.0 cut fit for sappy plates. We'll just start from the top and work our way down. So starting up at the top here, we've got some extra pads. I find that the regular JPC 2.0 pads aren't quite enough if you're carrying this around with a full load like I am for a long period of time. So I added these onto the bottom of the shoulder pads here just to provide that extra bit of cushioning and spread that load out a little further. Up top here, I have a Princeton Tech headlight. I think this is a fantastic location to keep a headlamp either around your neck, or in this case here, I keep it around the top of my plate. Usually a lot of people will put a piece of tape over the lens to protect from the reflection, or if you hit the button, having your light be able to be seen from a large distance. The issue with that is you have to remember to remove that light, that piece of tape if you want to use that light. And at the same time, sometimes when you go to cover it back up afterwards, that tape isn't sticky enough anymore and you have to find a new piece of tape. You can see here on mine, I took the piece of tape off to use it and I put it back quite yet. Up here in the top of the pouch, I've got some notepads, just some small other pieces of useful items in here. I've got a pen in here as well as some translation sheets. I find that useful for my job, so I leave them up there. On the side here, I've got a jungle dart. That's just part of my job, so that's why I keep it there. And on the other side here, I have a pair of trauma shears. These sort of go along with my med kit that I have set up on here, so I like to keep them on the front of my kit just for easy access, and I can usually tuck them in right behind my mags underneath the placard here. On the front of my kit here, I have a Haley Strategic TRMP, and essentially what that is a triple mag pouch, and you can see it has these little slots here. That's so you can put a bungee retention cord. I don't have that on my kit right now. I find it a little clunky and slow, and I find that these plastic inserts along with that elastic is more than enough to keep my magazines fully inserted. However, as that fabric stretches over time, I'll probably put the retention pieces back on just to make sure that stays on. One thing that I really like about this placard is the front pieces here are fabric, this stretchy material, so you can actually double up on mags on the front there. So you can run up to 6 mags on the front. I don't usually do more than a triple at the front. Oftentimes I'll run into a situation where I have an extra mag, likely the one in my gun, but I can't keep it in my gun, and I need a location to store it on my kit. I don't have any designated spots, so I like to throw them in the front here. And on the bottom here, have another Haley Strategic little pouch here. This is just a front dump pouch. I find this as sort of an excellent little thing. If I'm collecting little bits and pieces, I can throw them in the front here. Spare ammo, extra magazines, stuff like that. And that just tucks up right on the front here and velcros up onto the back of the kit. One of my favorite things about this setup is if I really wanted to, I could plus up to 8 mags just on my plate carrier. I don't usually do that. I'll usually have one on my belt, one on my rifle. However, it'll look very similar to this setup right here, at least initially, until I get my first reload. Moving on to the back of my kit here, we'll start with the cummerbunds. So on my left-hand side, I have my radio pouch here. This one's a Blue Force embedder pouch. I have a Blue Force dump pouch here on the side. You'll notice this is the second dump pouch on my plate carrier. I find that more often than not, I need an extra pouch. Sometimes you'll see people running GP pouches and with the zipper. However, I find that just having a larger bag that tucks in really nicely that I can cinch down is very, very useful. Also, I have one of my 3 tourniquets attached to the side here. And for the actual soft armor on the side, this is just stolen off of a Cry AVS, but I have soft armor inserts in there. I find that the soft armor inserts, I almost don't notice them and have no issue running soft plates on the side there, as it doesn't really limit me or slow me down. It's a very lightweight thing to add that gives me a lot of added protection. Here in the back for my med pouch, I have a Ferro Concepts Roll 1. I think this is the best med pouch as it tucks in perfectly right underneath that plate on the back. Still easily reach it from the sides, from the front while I'm wearing it. Pull those out and I have access to everything I need. Moving on to my right and dominant side, I have another tourniquet as well as another side plate. And this right here is a LBT double mag pouch. I like the LBT double mag pouches as I could double up a mag if I really wanted to. However, I could also pop it out and put other things in here like a small radio, frags, smoke grenades, something along those lines if I wasn't carrying along extra mags on my person. So one thing I wanted to quickly note is the fact that I have nothing on the rear sides of my cummerbunds here or on the back of my plate aside from this roll one med pouch. The reason for that is I usually wear a backpack of some sorts, and I find that keeping everything clear on the back is the most comfortable way to transport large packs for long periods of time without having any issues with that. A lot of people will sometimes put a med pouch in the back, sort of out of the way. I like to keep that free just so I can put my arms to my side and not have them rubbing up against anything. Oftentimes you'll see people throw GP pouches underneath their arms on the side of their cummerbunds there. I don't like that personally, as that's where my backpack comes in, and everything I need I'll quickly have in my backpack. All in all, this JPC is coming in at about 10 to 12 pounds with the plates and ammo, minus the radio, of course. One quick thing that I've noticed in terms of wear, I've had this kit for about 4 years now, and essentially the only wear I have has been this tiny little corner right here has started to fray. So yeah, it's just been a quick little breakdown of my JPC 2.0 setup. I understand that some of you may disagree with how I've things set up. However, this is just based off of what has worked best for me in the past, and I will probably be changing things on this kit as new products become available, or as I realize that some things I have on here I don't really need, or that maybe there's something else that I could have on here that would be more beneficial. I'll probably make a updated video as time passes if something drastic changes with my kit. Thank you for watching Black Cat. Please remember to like and subscribe. It's super helpful and helps me grow my channel. Have a good one.